So my name is Dixie Tanner, and this is me and my final project. So some things that I learned about myself through personal assessments is that I am above average for empathy. I can really relate to other people's emotions, and I can say that I can actually feel other people's emotions. Whatever they're feeling generally affects me and how I feel. For my nonverbal immediacy behavior, I fell as the average range. I can be very animated sometimes when I talk, but I am definitely not seen as monotone or dull. For my listening style, I am very much a relational listener. I focus on the relationship that I have with the person that I'm communicating with, and I think that that is really important to me. For my emotional intelligence, I scored very lowly. I can recognize my emotions, but I struggle to control my emotions sometimes. I can get very anxious and nervous, and I can be also very impatient sometimes. And then for my method of conflict resolution through these personal assessments, I found out that I use avoidance as my go-to for my method of conflict resolution. Some interesting concepts we learned in this class that I thought was great. The first one is the conflict styles. So I just said mine is avoidance, which is way down here. And I know quite a few people's whose is competition, which is way up here, which is all about my way or the highway. I thought it was really interesting to learn that instead of just like this is how we resolve conflict and sometimes we need to change, instead you should change your conflict style depending on the situation or the scenario. I thought that was really cool and interesting. Another thing that I thought was interesting is that when we feel emotions, we undergo physiological changes, and we can actually map out our emotions. And I got this picture from the textbook, and I really, when I saw this picture, I was like, wow, like it is so cool how accurate that is. That is really interesting. Okay. Another interesting thing that I learned is that communication is highly important in intimate relationships or romantic relationships. We cannot expect to remain a level of intimacy if we never communicate with that person. But communication isn't just through speaking to that person. We can use one of these love languages. So there's 5 love languages: words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, quality time, and acts of service. And using these love languages can really help with the level of intimacy in your relationship. And I thought that was really great. Another important thing is that there's a big difference between hearing and listening. When you hear something, you're registering the noise, but you're not processing the information. I think that gets us into trouble a lot of times because we hear stuff, but we're not listening. We're not processing that information and thinking about it and applying it to ourselves. I just thought that this was really great information. The last concept that I learned that I really thought was cool is that a large part of communications happens through nonverbal communication. We can read people's facial expressions, their posture, even like the activities they're participating in and how they're participating in it. Are they slamming things? Are they quiet? Are they just kind of trying to hide? We pick up on the nonverbal, and the nonverbal is what we generally define as true in that situation. So if a woman says, "I'm fine," but rolls her eyes and huffs, we're going to believe that she's in fact not fine because of the nonverbal language she is giving us. Some important ideas that I'd like to apply to my personal life that I learned is, the first one is the love languages. I think this is really important to apply to my life. I thought about this a lot, and I talked to my husband, and my husband's love language is physical touch. I've been trying to apply this to our relationship, and I think that this really helps, and it just helps bring up that level of intimacy. I don't know. I kind of, every day is different for me. I struggle with any type of scales or who are you type quizzes, and so I don't really know where I fall, and that's something that I would like to work on, is figuring out my love language. Another important thing that I learned that I'd like to apply to my life is the 7 steps to conflict resolution or solving a problem. Start by defining your needs. A lot of times, what do we need out of this conflict? Is it even worth fighting for? So figure out, what do you need. Share those needs with another person. A lot of times we don't speak up for ourselves. Listen to the other person's needs. Generate possible solutions. Evaluate possible solutions and choose the best one. Implement the solution and follow up on the solution. Those are definitely important, and I would like to really use these. I think I'd like to apply conflict styles. I would like to recognize when I need to use different conflict styles and use them in those situations. And I think that one is going to be a big challenge for me. Self-talk. I don't give myself a lot of positive self-talk. I would like to start giving myself more positive self-talk. Develop better listening habits. I think we can all develop better listening habits. Trying not to think about what I'm going to say instead, but instead listen to what they have to say and really take in that information. And then the last one, being mindful of mediated communication. In the day and age of social technology, we're just all the time posting nonsense to Facebook and other social media. I'd like to be careful about what I post and ask myself if there's a better way to give that information without putting it on that platform. Is there a better, more effective way to give this information? So thank you for watching my video, and I learned a lot in this class, and go Gators!